everybody, and happy February. Congratulations on surviving January, which I always feel is an achievement worthy of celebration. Today I'm going to be playing the Preludes and Fugues based on C sharp from Bach's Well-Tempered Clavier, or his 48. A month ago I played those based on C, so we've gone up one step. Western music is mostly based on the 12 different notes in the octave. You can see on a piano keyboard there are 7 white notes and 5 blacks before the pattern starts repeating. So there are 12 different notes, and for each of those you have the option of writing in a major or a minor key. So you might take C major or C minor. And I always think for a composer, it's like the colours of paint on an artist's palette, having those notes to choose from. When you're writing a piece in that key, the notes of that scale are going to be your building blocks. They're not the only things you can use. Like a painter, you can add a splash of something different, but they're your kind of home territory. And in Bach's time, it was unusual to be able to write or play in all 24 keys, the 12 major and 12 minor. He called this set of pieces the Well-Tempered Clavier. Clavier referred really to any keyboard instrument, organ, harpsichord. The piano was relatively new at that time and not widely known, but today that's what I'm playing on. The well-tempered bit is talking about the system of tuning that was developed shortly before Bach wrote these pieces that enabled people to play in every key. Previously, some would have sounded great, but some would have been completely unusable and would have sounded awful. So this collection, the Well-Tempered Clavier, really explores the possibilities of all of those different keys. And for me, what's interesting is that this is not just a compendium of different keys, but also a compendium of the different colours and languages that come with each key, and the different emotions or affects that you get with each of those keys. Bach really uses all of the different musical styles that are available to him. He picks up on dance forms that would have been familiar to audiences at the time. He's inspired by virtuosic concerto style or lyrical aria style, or the ancient choral music, and one of the fugues today really is in that stile antico. In each key, Bach writes a prelude and a fugue. So the prelude, he takes often one very short musical idea and expands it into a whole journey. Some of them I think are perhaps more like a portrait, a still image, and some more like a moving journey. And then after the prelude, he writes a fugue. Now a fugue is really dialogue between different voices or characters, often 3 or 4, but sometimes as many as 5, which we have in one of the examples today. Like any good drama, the voices all interweave and fight one another and eventually reach a dramatic peak and then resolve. The first voice starts on its own at the beginning and states the subject, and then the second answers that with the same material, and gradually each voice enters with the same idea, and then that subject comes back right throughout the fugue, always, often in different keys, always in different keys, often some doubled in length or halved in length, even turned upside down, and all working against the dialogue of the other parts. So this contrapuntal writing is often seen as one of the greatest challenges for a composer, and Bach, without a doubt, is the greatest ever to have tackled this style of music. Bach was in his mid-30s, the same age as me, which is a frightening thought, when he put together this collection, the Well-Tempered Clavier. It was the early 1720s. He was in Curtin, and there he was mostly occupied with writing instrumental music. His Brandenburg concertos come from around the same time, and also a lot of his string sonatas and lots of his other keyboard music. And so if you know those types of works, you might hear their influence in the preludes and fugues that date from that time. 20 years later, Bach came back to the challenge of writing in every key, the 12 majors and the 12 minors. Having written this book, he wrote book 2 and went through the same challenge again, a prelude and a fugue in every key. And by that time he was in Leipzig. He was mostly writing choral music, weekly cantatas, which is an astonishing feat, and also his great works like the B minor Mass. And so perhaps we hear the influence of those styles in some of those later works. So across these two books, Book 1 and Book 2, we have the whole of the Well-Tempered Clavier, which has come to be known as the 48. And a few years ago I was thinking what I might be able to do with this music, and happened to search how many counties there are in England. I don't know what it was that made me think to look it up, but when I saw there were 48, I knew there was a project in here waiting to happen. And so the plan is still this year to take the whole of this set of music to each of the 48 counties in England. In order to be able to do that, I've set up a crowdfunder that is covering the travel costs of this whole project. And thank you so much to the many people who have contributed to that. It's wonderful to see that it's at about 75% of what it needs to be at. If you haven't yet had a chance to contribute, please do consider it. There's a link further down this Facebook page, or you can go directly to it at, I think, crowdfunder.co.uk/Bach-project-48. I'm putting out this live stream for free today, but if you enjoy the music, please consider putting a few pounds in there. That would be hugely gratefully received. You'll be supporting me, giving me the chance to take this music to each county. You'll be supporting the audiences in each of those places, giving them the chance to hear live music after such a dearth of that in recent months. And you'll also be supporting 4 fantastic charities: Help Musicians, Youth Music, Future Talent and Live Music Now. Those charities are chosen because they're inspired by Bach's own dedication at the beginning of Book 1 of the Well-Tempered Clavier. He writes that the music is for those who are studying and also for those who are already capable at playing music. And so the charities reflect that: Help Musicians that work with professional musicians, Youth Music and Future Talent who support younger musicians, and Live Music Now who bring music to all sorts of contexts. Bach writes that the music is for studying but also for enjoyment. So today we have the Preludes and Fugues on C sharp, 2 in the major, 2 in the minor. C sharp major is an extraordinarily sharp key. All 7 possible sharps are in the key signature. It's quite unusual to play in that key even today, but it was extremely rare in Bach's time. And so I think he finds something quite extreme in the music. For me, in the major, C sharp major, I also find a real luminosity in what he creates, this sort of incredible brightness that comes from being as sharp as can be. C sharp minor, on the other hand, is a really intense key. I think Bach finds in his lyricism something particularly rich and very profound, particularly in the slower of the 2 fugues in that key today. I wrote to the mailing list for this project a few days ago about trying to explore what it is in Bach's music that is universal, and I certainly haven't worked that out yet, but it does have that feeling for me. If you'd like to join that mailing list, just get in touch, we'll put you on the list. But for me, these Preludes and Fugues today also tap somehow into the cycle of life, which is something that's been very much on my mind recently. In this family, we've had several bereavements in recent months. But equally, one of my closest friends had a baby just a few days ago, and I do feel that this music somehow taps into that deepest human experience that we all have. So I'll be thinking of those people that we've lost and the new ones who've arrived in this music. That's what will be in my mind, but of course for you it can be whatever the music inspires in your own thoughts. So the 4 Preludes and Fugues today, I'm going to play the major from Book 2 first, and then the minor from Book 1, and then the major from Book 1, and then the minor from Book 2 to finish.